In this topic, we are trying to learn what is the compound pendulum and how to calculate the circular frequency and the natural frequency for that compound pendulum. We are going to be discussing in this topic. So, in this case, the compound pendulum. So, what is the compound pendulum? That's going to be, I had given a definition of this one. The system on a rigid body, which is suspended vertically and oscillates with a small amplitude under the action of gravitational force, is known as a compound pendulum. In this case, that's going to be, the compound pendulum is going to be a system of the rigid body. So, I had given the parallel to this definition, I had given the one example to make you to understand clearly. So, there is going to be a rigid body. So, in this case, what will happen? This is going to be considered, this is the rigid body, and then what will happen? That's going to be a system or a rigid body which is suspended vertically. So, then what happened? For this one, I had fixed at this point O. The O is going to be the fixed point for this solid object. Then oscillates with a small amplitude. So then what will happen in this case? So then I am going to be applying the force in this direction. That means the external excitation or external force I had given to this system. So as we know that when we given the external excitation to the system and it is going to be moved to this point, then the body is going to be trying to move along in this circular path. So right, so in this case what will happen? Due to this force, it will reach to the new position. I am going to draw the axis of this member. Can you see this one? So it's reached to the new position. That means, so oscillates with a small amplitude. That means in this case we have to give only the initial displacement or initial force of that system. After that going to be displaced, then we are going to be removing the external force from that position. Then automatically, so then what will happen in this case? The oscillates with a small amplitude under the influence of the gravitational force, right? The gravitational force will allow. So then what happened? W is going to be the weight of the system and which is passing to the center of the gravity of that body. So then in this case W is going to be pulling in the downward direction. When I shifted to the new position, so then in this case also what will happen? Can you see? So this is going to be the body and the weight is going to be acting in this direction, right? So I am going to be resolve this component to along the axis of the member and perpendicular to the axis of that member, so that we are going to be getting the definition what it is saying that. So that means this object after giving the initial displacement to the system, that going to be reaching to the new position. Once you remove that force, then automatically it will going to be oscillating under the influence of the gravitational force. Then we can say that system is going to be a compound pendulum, right? And here I had given some terminologies here I am going to be using. W is going to be the weight of the rigid body, that is equal to mg. The next one, O is the point of suspensions, that are the fixed point for this solid object. Then K is the radius of gyration, right? And I is going to be the moment of inertia about O. So that's I is equal to mk square plus mh square, because can you see here, this is going to be the fixed point, but the center of gravity is going to be existed here. The distance between the fixed point and the center of the gravity, it's going to be a distance is there h. So that's going to be h is going to be the perpendicular distance between the point O and the G, right? And other terminologies we are using, Ti is going to be called inertia torque. Tr is going to be called restoring torque. And TA we are going to be say that's going to be the accelerating torque. By this one, now we are going to be develop the mathematical model and further we develop the equation of motion and then we are going to be define the natural frequency for this solid object. So once we are taking, when it is reached to the new position, for the initial position this is going to be the equilibrium position and this is the exciting position. Between these two I am going to be taking the theta. The theta is going to be the small angle we have displaced with the help of the external force, then we can say. So then in this case what will happen? So the weight is going to be acting inclined to the axis of the member. So to make it more convenient, that I am going to be resolving into the two components. One is going to be parallel to the axis of the member and this is also making an angle theta and which is going to be perpendicular to this part. Right? In this case what will happen? This is going to be, this is the incident side, then W cos theta I can say, and this is I am going to say W sin theta. Right? And this component which is perpendicular to the axis of the member. Then now tell me, what are the forces are going to be acting on this member? Suppose if I am going to draw the free body diagram for this one, then what are the forces are acting in this member? As we know that when it is shifted from the mean position to the new position, when it is start to move in this direction, so then what will happen? There is a restoring force is going to be acting on this towards the bring to its original position, right? So then that's going to be when the object is trying to move towards this side, towards the right side, then there is going to be a restoring torque is going to be generating on that system. As we know, the torque is equal to force into the radius, and here the force component is going to be the W sin theta. So then what will happen in this case? So that object is trying to back to the original position. At the same time, that object is going to be moving in this direction, means the accelerating torque is going to be pushing towards the right side of this object. Then what happens? There is an inertia force is going to be generated. So that's I'm going to be taking here is the Ti. These two forces are trying to bring back its equilibrium position. But what will happen due to the inertia force? This object is going to be reaching to the another position. Alright, and then in this way the object is going to be start oscillating under the influence of the gravitational force. Now we are going to be solve this equation to get the natural frequency for this compound pendulum. As you know, the Tr is equal to, that is going to be the restoring torque. The restoring torque Tr. The Tr is equal to, what is the formula we do have? So that's going to be force into the radius we need to take it for the torque. In this case, what is the force? That's we need to take the perpendicular to the axis of this member for the new position. That's going to be W sin theta we said. So that's going to be W sin theta here. The W sin theta. And this is going to be the force. And then what is the radius in this case? What is the perpendicular distance between these two? That's going to be the h. Because even though in the equilibrium position or exciting position, the distance between the O and G is not going to be changed because it is the rigid body. So then I'm going to be simplifying this equation. W is equal to mgh sin theta. As we know that the theta is going to be the very small quantity. That means sin theta is going to be the very small quantity. Then the Tr is equal to, I'm going to mention mg h theta I'm going to be mentioning. So this is the value that we got it. I'm writing here. Tr is equal to mgh theta. Then one parameter we have calculated. Next we have to go for the second parameter. That's going to be the Ti. So that is the inertia torque acting on that system which is trying to bring back to its equilibrium position. That means I have taken the Tr and Ti are the reaction forces, and what is accelerating force is going to be the action force. But only we consider only the reaction force. And the Ti is equal to, what is the formula we do have? The Ti is equal to, it is going to be trying to be in the circular direction. That's going to be I into acceleration. So as we know that if the object is moving in the linear direction, that I am going to say F is equal to m into acceleration. Alright. So in the same way, m is going to be the quantity here is going to be the mass moment of inertia, and the x is going to be, that is going to be the x quantity acceleration that we can say in the angular acceleration. So in this case, so Ti is equal to I into acceleration. As we know, I is equal to, what is the formula? Already we have written that, because we are applying the parallel axis theorem. That's going to be mk square plus m into h square. That's going to be into acceleration. Right? This is going to be the Ti value. So that's going to be Ti is equal to, what the formula? Mk square plus mh square, that is going to be the distance square into the acceleration. As you know, from this one, once we are getting, we are applying the static equilibrium condition, right? So in that static equilibrium conditions, what we are going to be say, the summation of the moments acting on that system is equal to 0. The summation of the torquing forces acting on that system is equal to 0. That I am going to be taking Ti is equal to 0 T. So in this case Ti, so these are two forces are acting towards the left side of the system, that I am saying Ti plus Tr equal to 0, because the 0 here representing that is the force here. Only we are giving the initial displacement, and after that it will oscillate on its own. So then what is the formula for the Ti? The Ti is equal to, we do have, that's going to be mk square plus mh square. That's going to be the acceleration. Tr is equal to mgh theta, that's equal to 0. So then from this one, which you can say this is going to be the equation of motion for this compound pendulum. So now we are going to be simplifying this equation so that we can calculate the circular frequency. So this is the equation of motion. As we know that in this case m is going to be the common terminology that I am going to take to the right side. So then what I am getting here, k square plus h square, that is into acceleration plus g h theta equal to 0. As we know that from this equation of motion, from this terminology, that's going to be theta acceleration plus g h by k square plus h square into theta is equal to 0. As you know that this parameter we are going to be say the circular frequency, that is going to be omega n. The omega n is equal to the square root of gh by k square plus h square. So then we can say this is going to be the circular frequency. Right? So once we calculate the circular frequency, then easily we can calculate the natural frequency of that system for this compound pendulum. So as we know that the natural frequency, the Fn is equal to omega n by 2 pi, right? In this case, what is the omega n is going to be? This is the part. So 1 by 2 pi, the square root of gh by k square plus h square we are going to be taking. This is going to be the natural frequency for this compound pendulum, when it is going to be subjected to the gravitational force. So that means under the gravitational force, that object is going to be start oscillating on its own. Then that's going to be say the compound pendulum. This is the circular frequency and this is the natural frequency of that system. In the last session, we have derived the equation of motion and the natural frequency of a compound pendulum, right? So in that connection, we are trying to solve few problems to try to understand how to determine the natural frequency of the compound pendulum or other parameters from this one. So in that connection here, the problem I stated on the board, the radius of gyration. It means that the radius of gyration in the given data, something he has given in the given. Suppose I am going to be writing in the given data. The radius of gyration of a compound pendulum about the point of suspension is 100 mm. It means that the k he has given 100 mm. So that is equal to 0.1 meters. The distance between the point of suspension and the center of mass is 250 mm. It means that here the distance between the point of suspension, the point of O, and the center of mass is going to be the z. The distance between this t, h is equal to 250 mm. That is equal to 0.25 meters. And what other data he has provided? Considering the acceleration due to gravity is 9.85. That's going to be g is equal to 9.81 meter per second square. The natural frequency, that's we need to calculate that f is equal to, that means here he is not asking the natural frequency, he is asking the circular frequency of the system. Omega n is equal to how much? Because this is going to be the units are radians per second. So and here the compound pendulum. So as we know that what is the configuration of the compound pendulum, right? So then I am going to be draw the diagram for this part. From the given data, I am going to be draw the compound pendulum. This is the point O and this is the point G. The distance between the center of mass and point of suspension we are going to be say the H. The H is equal to 0.25 meters. So then G has provided. So then when we are going to be giving a initial displacement to the system, then it is going to be getting the small amplitudes. This angle I am going to say the theta. And in this case what will happen? The two forces we are going to be acting. One is going to be the accelerating force. The second one is the restoring force. So from this one already we have calculated, that's going to be W sin theta is going to be the restoring force, and here is going to be the Ti is going to be the inertia torque is acting on this one, but accelerating torque is going to be acting in this direction. So from this one I am going to be taking the D'Alembert principles. That's going to be summation of the torques are acting on that's equal to 0. That's going to be Ti plus, and Tr is going to be the restoring torque in this case. So then what will happen in this case? That's going to be I into the acceleration plus Tr is equal to, I am going to be writing here mg sin theta into h we need to take it, that is equal to 0. So then final equation I alpha plus mgh theta is equal to 0. So in this case what I am going to be taking, so that's I is equal to the pendulum, the I is the mass moment of inertia, that's I am going to be taking m into k square into alpha plus mgh theta is equal to 0. From this equation omega n is equal to, what is the formula in this case? mgh by k square. So further simplification, gh by k square we have taken, right? If I am going to be substituting these values in this equation, 9.81 into h is equal to 0.25 divided by 0.1 whole square. So from this one we are going to be calculating the omega n. The omega n is nothing but the circular frequency of this compound pendulum. So that's the final value from this one, that is equal to 15.66 radians per second. So that means omega n is equal to 15.66 radians per second. So this way we are going to be calculating the circular frequency from this one. From that Fn is equal to, we do have the formula, that's going to be omega n by 2 pi. If you are going to be substituting this equation, then you will get in terms of the hedges. So the compound pendulum, the given data is going to be the radius of gyration, that's distance between the center point, that means the point of suspension to the center of gravity, and g is going to be the acceleration due to gravity. So from this one we do have calculated the natural frequency of the system. Thank you. In continuation of the compound pendulum, we are going to solve one more problem on that. So here is the problem, calculate the moment of inertia. So in this case we need to calculate the moment of inertia I of an object having a time period is equal to 14 seconds, time period is given, mass 10 kg, and the center of gravity lies at 20 centimeters below the point of suspension. It means that he has provided the h value. So, and here is the options he has given from the A is equal to 94.1 kg per meter square, B is equal to be 95.2, C is equal to 93.3, D is equal to 97.4 kg meter square. So how could you calculate here? So as for this one, I am going to be writing the given data. What is the given data he has given? So the first one is going to be the time period he has provided, that's going to be 14 seconds, right? So the next one, the mass is equal to how much mass? That's going to be m is equal to 10 kg he has provided. And the next one, the center of gravity lies automatically, the g is equal to 9.81 meter per second square, and h is equal to the distance between the point of suspension to the center of mass, that's going to be 20 centimeters, that I am writing 0.2 meters, right? And this is the data he has given. So then we need to calculate. What do you want to calculate? That's going to be I is going to be the moment of inertia. Then how could you calculate the moment of inertia? So in this solution, we do have the formula for the compound pendulum, that's going to be omega n is equal to, the formula is going to be gh by I, we got it, right? gh by I means here I am going to be multiplying with the m, because I is going to be, the formula is equal to mk square, that means the mass into the radius of gyration. So in this case I have taken the directly I means I want to multiply mgh here. So if I am going to be simplifying this equation, what I am going to be getting, I is equal to mgh omega n square. So in this case, which is the unknown terminology, we do have the mass, gravity, and h value also with available. And only thing is we need to calculate the omega n. So then how would you calculate the omega n? Is nothing but the circular frequency of the system. But in this case, omega n, how do you calculate? We can calculate from the time period. So the time period Tp is equal to, what is the formula we do have? That's going to be 2 pi by omega n. So omega n is equal to 2 pi by Tp, I am going to say suppose then 2 into 3.14 by the time period is equal to 14 seconds. That's I'm going to be taking here. So then omega n is equal to, if you are going to be multiplying and divided by 14, so then how much we are getting here? 0.448 radians per second we got it. So this is the omega n value. Once we are going to be calculated the omega n, then we can substitute in this moment of inertia, then we will get it the moment of inertia. So then omega n, that is going to moment of inertia I is equal to, we do have the mass is equal to how much? That's going to be 10 kg. 9.81 is the center of acceleration due to gravity. Then h is equal to the 20 centimeters he has mentioned, that is going to be 2. Omega n is equal to 0.448 we do have. The finally I is equal to, then if you are going to be multiplying and divided by the natural frequency, so then how much we are going to be getting? This is going to be the square. So then finally I is equal to 97.12 kg meter square we got it. So this way we are going to be calculating when they given the time period. From the time period I have calculated the circular frequency of the system. Once we are getting the circular frequency, then I have substituted in the circular frequency equation, then I is equal to mgh by omega n square. From this one I got it 97.12. So from this equation, in these options, which is going to be the right one? That's going to be the D is going to be the right answer, 97.4, because it is very approximately to this value. That's why we are going to be choosing D is equal to 97.4. In continuation of the compound pendulum, here the same data we do have taken, but we need to find out the different parameters, right? So that's we are going to see here. Calculate the frequency of the vibration in Hz. But in the previous problem we have seen that that's going to be the radians per seconds we need to calculate. Then what is the given data of an object having a mass moment of inertia I is equal to 100 kg. So the given data is here, I is equal to 100 kg per meter square. The mass of that system m is equal to 10 kg he has taken, and the center of gravity lies at a point of 20 centimeters below the point of suspension. So in this case g is equal to 9.81 meter per second square, and h is equal to 20 centimeters he has given, that's going to be 0.2 meters. So we need to calculate the natural frequency of the system in terms of the Hz. So that's we are taking calculate Fn is equal to how much? That's we need to calculate it in terms of the Hz. So then what is the formula we are going to be supporting? So initially I am going to be writing in the reverse direction that solution Fn is equal to, what is the formula? That's going to be omega n by 2 pi. If I am able to get the omega n, that is going to be circular frequency, easily I can calculate the natural frequency of the system. So then how could you calculate the omega n? As for the compound pendulum, we do have the formula omega n is equal to. So omega n is going to be the circular frequency, that is equal to the square root of mgh by I. In this case, I am not going to be taking the mk square, because in this given data, I already got it, I is equal to 100 kg per meter square. And m is available, g available, h is available. If I am going to be substituting in this equation, so then I am going to be getting omega n is equal to square root of mass is equal to be 10, g is going to be 9.81, h is equal to 0.2, and I is equal to 100. So from this one, omega n is equal to, the finally I got it 0.4429 radians per second I got it. Radians per second I got it. That means omega n is equal to 0.4429 we got it. Once we are getting this omega n, if I am going to be substituting in the natural frequency, so then I will get it that part. So once it is over, so then Fn is equal to, omega n is equal to 0.4429 divided by 2 into 3.14. So what is the final answer from that one? So that answer is equal to 0.07 Hz. Alright, this is the natural frequency of the given compound pendulum. So at the same time, he has given the A, B, C, D values. A is equal to 0.14. So we got it 0.07 Hz. So then 0.15, 0.13 the C, and the D is equal to 0.7. So I am going to be choosing here 0.07 is going to be the final value of the natural frequency of the given compound pendulum. In continuation of the compound pendulum problems, right, we are going to be solve one more problem regarding the natural frequency of the system. So here, if the mass of the object is doubled, right, the mass is going to be doubled, then what will be the effect of the time period of the compound pendulum? So he is asking the time period. So if the mass is going to be doubled, so initially we have taken as for from the given data. So what is the data he has given? So mass is equal to be doubled 2 times, right? The mass is going to be doubled 2 times. So then we need to calculate the time period is equal to how much, right? The time period is equal to, what is the formula we do have? So the time period Tp is equal to 2 pi by omega n, right? So if I am going to have the value of the omega n, then I can say how much time it is going to be taking if the mass is going to be doubled. So then omega n is equal to, what's the formula? So that is going to be circular frequency omega n is equal to, we will have the formula that's going to be square root of mgh by I we do have, right? This is the formula we have taken. So this is the naturally when the mass is equal to the same mass, that is going to be 1 unit of the mass. But in this case, the mass is equal to 2 times of the original mass. So then the same equation I am going to be modifying, that's going to be square root of 2mgh by I. So in this case what will happen, if I am going to be substituting in this equation, that's going to be circular frequency. So then from this one, what I am going to be getting, the time period is equal to 2 pi by the square root of 2mgh by I will get it, right? If I am going to be writing further simplification, that's I is going to be taken to the numerator. So then final equation from this one, so that I am going to be getting 2 pi the square root of I by 2mgh I will get it. So I am going to be rewriting that part. So that's going to be time period is equal to 2 pi the square root of I by 2mgh. So in this case what will happen, when the mass is going to be doubled, then what will happen to the time period? So then from this one I am going to be writing the time period Tp is equal to inversely proportional to the mass. So that's going to be the answer here. So from this one we are going to be getting, so that mass element I am going to be taking out. So that's going to be time period is equal to the inversely proportional to the, it is inversely proportional and square root of the 2 is going to be. It means that the value of the time period will going to be decreases. So that answer will goes to here, doubled, remains same or half, and decreases by the square root of times. So then my answer is going to be the D. The D is going to be decreases by the square root of times. So this way we are going to be solving the compound pendulum problems.